Hey, good morning. How are you doing? Hopefully, you're having a great day. As the little blurb says, the temperature's just not changing very much. Our precip chances are going up just a little bit, but just a little, not much at all. I'm talking 10 to 20% over the next couple of days. But summer just doesn't want to give up. Now, having said that, at least we're not in the upper 90s. We're in the low 90s, a little bit more bearable. But this time of the year, we should be more like in the mid 80s to upper 80s, something like that. So we've been running a little bit above average. And so I thought this would be a good time to just take a look at the month of October and what you can expect. And at the beginning of the month, temperatures like today, our average high is 85. But by the time we get to Halloween, the average high is right around 77. That's the day in, day out high temperature, and the average low is in the mid 50s. So we've been running way, way, way above what you'd expect for October. And how that usually resolves, and I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but usually what happens when we run a month with temperatures way above average, a big cold front comes in and then sends us way below average. I don't see that, but that's typically what happens. But again, I don't see that on the horizon. All right, coldest temperature we've ever had in the month of October was back in 1993. It got down to 27, believe it or not. In 1991, we had one of the hottest temperatures, almost 100 at 99. And average precip, well, it depends on what source you're looking at, but anywhere around 2.8 to about 3.8. Usually October is a wet month. Sometimes October can be a dry month, and it looks like that may be the case. Okay, speaking of warmth, taking a look at what happened yesterday. High 91, Waco 91, Dallas-Fort Worth around 90, Houston 92, Lubbock 90. Yeah, all across the state, temperatures running well above average for this time of the year. Current reading out there right now is 76 degrees. Normal low is 64, and the record low 46 and the record high 95. We're not going to break a record. We haven't broke a record in a while, but temperatures are going to be above average, no doubt. This evening, temperatures in the 80s with partly cloudy skies. Okay, let's take a look at some of the temperatures around. By the way, there have been a few little isolated showers down south around Beeville, south of Beeville, along the coastal sections, close to Port Lavaca. We still have a few of those showers down around Port Lavaca right now. Temperatures in the mid 70s, 76, Kerrville's at 69, Fredericksburg 69. Just about everybody is bouncing off of those morning lows. We've got a frontal boundary that has really cooled things off in Amarillo. Earlier this morning, Amarillo was in the mid to upper 60s, now in the mid 50s. And that frontal boundary doesn't have any upper level support, but it's still going to come close to us. And I think it probably will even be right across the area as a pseudo cold front. Not going to cool us off, mainly just a wind shift. And I'm expecting the winds over the next several days to be out of the east-northeast. Let's take a look at the temperatures for a high today. It looks like I took a big marker and just marked right across the middle of the country. Look at that stark difference from St. Louis today. The high should be in the low to mid 80s, but in Omaha, Nebraska, in the mid 50s. So there is cooling behind the front. It's just there's no upper level support. And so I think once it gets down here into South Texas, there won't be much left of it really. What do I mean by upper level support? Well, you notice the orientation of that frontal boundary. Look at the upper level flow and the mid level flow, kind of going parallel with it. So there's nothing really to help push it down. And for the most part, we'll have over the next couple of days an upper level ridge. And I think that will suppress activity. So I think the net result today, we'll have a few isolated showers around tomorrow, maybe 10 to 20% chance. And I think Wednesday, perhaps a few isolated showers. And then once we head towards the end of the week and the weekend, what we don't need is more upper level ridge. And I think that's exactly what we're going to get. All right, as we head, let's change gears a little bit. We'll look out in the tropics. We've got a disturbance out in the Atlantic. Really good chance that this is going to develop into the next system. But that Bermuda high has been so weak across the middle portions of the Atlantic that any kind of system that gains any latitude at all, once it starts getting latitude, really starts shooting off to the north and instead of staying more on a west coast, or west coast, on a westward trajectory. And I think this one's going to be the same. So probably another fish storm for us headed out into the middle part of the Atlantic. All right, high temperatures today. should reach the low 90s. Maybe an isolated shower, but the chances are just so slim. And then tomorrow, I'm expecting low 90s, 10 to 20% chance of picking up a shower, and I think Wednesday as well, about a 10 to 20% chance of picking up a shower. Hey, if you got the sniffles, it's probably because of ragweed this time of the year. Ragweed is moderate. It was high, but now moderate, so that's helping out a little bit. Okay, here's your 14-day forecast. Temperatures staying about the same. I may drop the lows a little bit, maybe upper 60s, but anyway, highs stay in the low 90s, maybe a 10 to 20% chance of a shower Tuesday, Wednesday as we head into the weekend. Upper 60s for lows, highs low 90s, and right into next week, I think high temperatures just continue to stay in the low 90s. All right, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer for that real big blockbuster cold front to move through. All right, thank you so much for streaming. We appreciate it. For more updates, go to KENS5.com and KENS5 Plus. All right, have a great day. We'll see you later.